All right, then, we are alive, I believe. If you are here, drop in, let me know you're here, hit the like button, all that jazz. So this is episode 47, I believe. So I've had a few people asking me about time management and prioritizing, all that kind of stuff, because we live in an extraordinarily fast world, and I know for many people it can feel like we never really get on top of everything. There's always a to-do list, there's always something else to do, and it just gets to the point where it feels like it's never ending. And these things can get in the way of you either doing the things that you want to do or doing things that benefit you. So I talk quite often about setting intentions, getting clear on what you want, and then assigning actions based around that. But I know it's a lot easier said than done. So I want to spend a bit of time this week giving you some things that you can use to help with your own time management, your own planning, your own prioritizing, all that kind of stuff. So yesterday morning in the Limitless group, I dropped a video around identifying time leaks. And then on Thursday, I'm going to go live here and show you how I personally manage my own time and the tools that I use. But today, we're going to touch on something called the time matrix. And it sort of ties in with the idea of intentions and becoming very consciously aware of how you're using your time and where your time is actually going. So the time matrix is something I learned about from a guy called Stephen R. Covey, and he has a book which I would highly recommend you read. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you get that and read it, really good book. If you have read it, let me know your thoughts in the comments on it. But what he basically describes is a quadrant, and at any one time we're operating within one of those 4 quadrants. So we have the 4 areas. So we've got, imagine your quadrant, you've got across the side, important and not important, and then across the top, you've got urgent and not urgent. So these obviously merge. So we'll have tasks that are urgent but important. So things that are really, really critical, emergency things, last minute, all that kind of stuff. You'll have tasks that are urgent but not important, so dealing with phone calls, emails popping up, people asking for things from you. Then you go across to the other side, you've got things that are not urgent but are important, so your own goals, tasks that you're working on, long-term projects, that kind of stuff. And then you'll also have not urgent and not important, so things that take away from your time, so distractions, routines, all that kind of stuff. So at any one time, you are going to be operating within one of those 4 areas. And the quadrant works really well to highlight 2 types of behavior, either reactive or proactive. And you've heard me talk about being reactive or proactive before in the context of creating your own life. Most of us are always in one of those 2 states. We're either reacting to something or we're being proactive and pushing towards something. A lot of the time, I think many of us find ourselves in the urgent, important area. So we're always putting out fires and we're having to deal with stuff that's beyond our control. Or we're in the urgent but not important. So answering emails, answering text messages, answering the phone, dealing with stuff that other people have put on us. When the reality of it is, those 2 areas don't actually move us closer to where we want to be. We'd have this sense of urgency and this sense of obligation. So we naturally respond because it's part of your human nature. When something is urgent, you feel the need to respond. And those things are the biggest time suckers. And usually they're actually the least productive, even though they're so urgent and they feel like they must be done. They're of no benefit to you. They actually take away from the thing that is going to move you forward or make you feel good. What we want to do is become conscious of this and start emphasizing high value activities and the things that enrich our lives and move us forwards towards our goals. And it's in the act of becoming conscious that we can start to make an effort to shift how we spend our time. For those of you that are in the group, I'm going to put up a PDF quadrant for you so you can actually use it, write on it, fill it out, and map out your daily activities. And then you can combine it with the exercise that we did on Monday and give all of those things you identified on Monday's activity a place within the quadrant, as well as the rating and stuff that we talked about on Monday. And that will give you a very, very clear picture of where your time is going, what activities are sucking most of your time up, and what area of the quadrant they fall into. So whether they're even worth your time and what it is they're actually costing you. And if they're not worth your time and they're costing you too much, then obviously we can work on either delegating those activities, automating them, or just binning them off entirely. Is this making sense? Just let me know in the comments if this is making sense, guys. It's a fairly simple concept, but I know I do waffle sometimes. But the main goal with this is to use this quadrant to increase your awareness and to collect data about how you're using your time and how you're spending your time every day, because without that, it becomes impossible to improve on anything. And any improvements you do try to make, you can't track them because you've got nothing to compare them against. So I recommend you get Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because there's loads of info on that, and there's obviously more things you can do. And anyone that wants a PDF of this quadrant so that they can combine it with Monday's activities, just drop me a comment, let me know that you want it, and then I'll send you a link to the group. And you can also make use of the Monday activity, so you'll get a real clear picture of what's going on with the time in your life. And then Thursday, I'm going to drop in on here and I'll be showing you a couple of my tools that I use for keeping track of time and maximum productivity. So just make sure you're following on here. But that's it for today. Just short and sweet overview of the time matrix, and just to emphasize the importance of those different states, the proactive state, the reactive state, and taking some time to identify which one you're in and where all of your time is going. So drop in the comments, let me know if you want the PDF and you want to see what we did on Monday, just to really, take this to the next level. And then I'll see you all on Thursday for some productivity tools and hacks. Have a wonderful day, you lot.